You're good here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Right, it is 7 a.m. A quorum is present, and this meeting has been duly called and posted in a time and manner as required by law. If you would please stand that we can join us in the prayer and the pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the abundance of your grace, your mercy, and your love. We come boldly before your throne of grace, that we might obtain mercy and find grace to help in this time of need. We thank you for this day that you've made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. You filled it with mercies and compassions and loaded it with blessings and benefits, all because of your great grace. So it's in your name that we pray and ask that you would watch over these proceedings. Thank you for every family that makes up Lubbock ISD. Thank you for all of the educators that help to govern and guide and to teach and to educate our students. Thank you for the students and their diligence. We pray that they perform well on the tests that they've recently taken and still continue to journey through. We ask that you help them to be diligent, help them to be watchful, and help them to be wise as they make best decisions. Lord, we thank you for every administrator on every campus here and as well in central office. We thank you for those that sit at this dais right now. Thank you for each family that they represent. I pray your blessing upon them as they govern and lead this district to the best of their ability with all of their heart and their respect upon you. Lord, it is our desire that we would do what is right, love mercifully, and walk humbly before you. So as we continue throughout this day, let your presence abide with us and keep us. And we shall be well kept. Feed us, and we shall be well fed. Lead us, and we shall be well led. We give you the glory, the honor, and praise. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee to Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you all. We welcome you to one of the best times of any board meeting that we have, and that's our student recognition portion. And since we've got a robust agenda, I'm going to jump right into it and welcome Mr. Andrew Babcock, the Executive Director of Fine Arts, to the podium for the recognition of our UIL State Qualifier in Theater Design. Mr. Babcock.
Thank you, President Stubblefield, board members. Good to see you this morning, Dr. Rollo. Yes, we get to recognize a UIL State Qualifier in theatrical design. That's Miss Echo Ansel, and I'll talk about her as she comes up. So let's give her a round of applause. Echo is at Lubbock High School, and she is the only student in the 16-5 area high schools students who were actually qualified to compete in this contest. She submitted her work back in February and was selected, and we'll be able to actually have the competition on May the 10th. So we're really excited that she gets to represent Lubbock ISD. So congratulations, Echo. And her teacher is Mr. Zachary Kachurik Gentry, and I believe he's here, and we'll come get a picture.
Echo, come back. We're going to
Yeah.
coach and the principal. Superintendent. Yeah, scoot in the middle. Coach, come right on this side. Right on this side, Coach. Appreciate you. Congratulations again. Next, I'd like to invite Aaron Gregg, the Executive Director of Communications and Community Relations, to the podium for the recognition. This is a special recognition, ladies and gentlemen, of our inaugural Doyle Vogler Memorial Scholarship recipients. Good morning, Mrs. Gregg.
President Stubblefield, Board, Dr. Rollo, thank you for having us this morning.
It's my honor this morning to recognize the inaugural recipients of the Doyle Vogler Memorial Scholarship Awards. Beloved by all, Doyle was a longtime Lubbock ISD educator and administrator who passed away a year ago next month. He touched the lives of countless families, students, and staff over his 30-year career in Lubbock ISD. He was passionate about the district's mission of nurturing, developing, and inspiring every child every day, and was deeply committed to educational equity for all students. What better way to honor his legacy than by investing in the future of our students through these scholarships? These awards symbolize not only Doyle's dedication to education, but also his belief in the transformative power of learning. By supporting deserving students in their pursuit of higher education, we continue the work Doyle began, fostering a community where every individual has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. As we recognize these scholarship recipients today, let us remember Doyle's enduring impact and strive to carry forward his legacy of excellence and compassion in education. 2 winners from each of our 5 high schools received $2,500 each to begin their college careers, and we recognize these students at the 3rd Annual Foundation for Excellence Grant Celebration on March 25th. Students submitted scholarship applications to be reviewed by the Scholarship Committee of the Lubbock ISD Foundation for Excellence and were awarded based on the scoring of their application. There were 10 students selected out of more than 150 applicants. So first, we'll recognize from Coronado High School, Haley Whitley. The other Coronado High School recipient with what is Faith Zent, who was unable to be here this morning. From Estacado High School, we have Isabella Aranda. And also from Estacado High School, we have Jordan Leaks. From Lubbock High School, we have Sailor Gallardo. And also Eli Simic, who was unable to attend this morning. From Monterey High School, we have Alexis Gonzalez. And also Nathan Martinez. Two students were also selected from the Talkington School for Young Women Leaders. They were unable to attend this morning. That's Micaiah Fulcher and Leilani Olbiter. Can we bring our campus administrators up for a photo with these students, please?
Yeah, one big kid, one big. Line it up a little bit. Yeah. The smallest in front. To the back. Slide forward. Slide forward. You got him in front, Jack. Yeah. So please, we gotta block as much as this.
You're in the front, make sure you have your certificates up. Like, big smile. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
All right, good job again, everybody. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Oh, girl, I ain't gonna let you hang. Great job. Congratulations. So proud of y'all. Go do well. Continuing on, the next 2 recognitions I'm gonna announce right now because they're gonna be done by the same individual, and that's Mrs. Amy Baker, the Executive Director of Career and Technical Education. I want to ask her to come to the podium for the recognition of the HOSA state qualifiers, followed by the recognition of Skills USA state qualifiers. Good morning, Mrs. Baker.
Good morning, President Stubblefield, Board, Dr. Rollo. Exciting time to continue to recognize students in our career and technical education programs who are state qualifiers in their respective programs. Today, I would like to introduce you to our HOSA state qualifiers. HOSA is our Health Occupation Students of America. This is a competitive group of students across the state. It is very difficult to advance to state in HOSA, so we are proud of the accomplishments of all of these students who participated in a global student organization that empowers future healthcare professionals through leadership development and competitive opportunities for students in health science and biomedical science. I would like to recognize to you from the ATC, Miss Lizzie Hughes. Jeanette Alvarez. Sadie Callison. Akhil Goraparthi. Hannah Jang. Brittany Mana. These are our students who competed as part of the ATC HOSA chapter. We invite their principal, Miss Ann Archer, to join us for a picture. And Janet Copeland, our sponsor. Janet Copeland, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Middle.
In addition to our ATC chapter of HOSA, we also have a special chapter at Monterey High School as part of our biomedical science program. We would like to recognize from Monterey High School state qualifier Annie Luft. Annie is coached by her sponsor, Miss Jessica Lara.
A couple of hands and you're gonna come right back.
Come on up, Mr. Porcupine.
Jack must get those steps in.
Congratulations.
Good job.
We will now recognize another group of outstanding students from our Skills USA chapter. You've heard Skills USA over the last several months as we've continued to do recognitions. Today we have our culinary state qualifiers. I would like to present Zachary Edwards. Ashley Husky. Haley Boland. Amber Meredith. And Miss Katie Diaz. These ATC students are coached by none other than the great Chef David Gooch.
We sample a lot.
How you doing?
Our next group of Skills USA state qualifiers is from our Criminal Justice Department. I would like to recognize our state qualifiers, Alyssa Alvarez, Austin Garcia, Madison Rodriguez, Jillian Gaona, I'm gonna get this last name out again. Kia Hegney, Danelle McCourt, and Treasure Kowina. We would also like to thank Mr. Paul Flores, Javad Deshone, and Ruben Gashlum for serving as sponsors.
One big group. Mr. Flores, why don't you come on this side? Paul, come on this side. Yeah, you come right here. That's all right. That's all right.
And I just want to say we made it. We recognized a lot of Skills USA students this year, so thank you for your ongoing support of our organizations.
And thank you, Mrs. Baker. We appreciate you and the program and everything that you all do. Final recognition. I'm going to invite Coach Mike Meeks, the Executive Director of Athletics, to the podium for the recognition of Monterey High School basketball player Aaliyah Chavez.
Y'all are welcome to take a seat if you'd like. We might be here a few moments.
Yeah, let's take a seat. Last time we forgot who's talking.
Hey, easy. I tell you, I'm always honored and humbled and proud to present our student athletes for recognition for state qualifiers, academic all-state, you know, as I'm called to the podium. Today's a little bit different. You're gonna hear a nationwide flair in this. So, Leah, come on, come stand right here. I know you know Aaliyah Chavez, but Mr. Stubblefield, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rollo, meet Aaliyah Chavez. She's a junior from Monterey High School. She's an elite basketball player known for exceptional skills and undeniable talent on the court with a passion for the game and drive to succeed. Aaliyah has made a name for herself in the world of basketball. Before I get going too far, I want to introduce her coaches. Coach Jill Snyder. Come on up. You can come stand over here underneath by this TV, I think. Landry Kidd is here. Is Shayla and Ivory here? Just two of you. Okay. Jill Snyder and Landry Kidd. Shayla Torres and Ivory Gillespie are still getting ready for class, I imagine. Okay. And then her parents are also here today. Y'all moved on. Okay. Sonny and Andrea Chavez, Bella. Y'all stand up, Bella.
Yep.
There you go. All right. Okay. Prior to this year, she broke school records in points in the season, points in a career and 3-pointers in a game, career, and season. She now still holds those records after the 23-24 season. These school records are most points in a game with 57 points. And then the following school records are notable stats that I'll get to in just a moment. But these school records also include 1,324 points in a season, 3,345 points in a career, 187 3-pointers in a season, 445 3-pointers in a career. Now this is why it's notable, and I'm hoping you'll learn some things today, Sonny. Maybe you didn't know. Leah, same for you. But notable stats: Aaliyah's career points of 3,345 ranks her 30th on the all-time most points scored list on the National Federation of High School Record Book result list. Okay, we're governed. All of our sports are governed by the National Federation of High School Sports. We are then governed by amendments through the UIL with different rules there. But this result list, she's just ahead. Now listen to these names. She's just ahead of WNBA legend Diana Taurasi, and just behind the likes of Cheryl Miller, Marlene Stallings, and Kim Mulkey. She's 12th all time in most 3-pointers in a career. She's first in 3-pointers in a season. She's 11th all time in points in a season. And with a senior year still to go, it is certain that Aaliyah Chavez will be at the top, one of the top high school girls basketball players in the nation ever.
No doubt.
Aaliyah Chavez has been recognized for outstanding performance in numerous games, earning accolades such as Player of the Week, Player of the Year, All-Star selections, and so on. Her ability to lead her team to victory and make clutch plays when it matters most has solidified her reputation as one of the best in the game. These are her 23-24 mentions. And I know Coach, we got together and I know there's something we're missing. There's a lot. This is just this year, she is the EYBL leading scorer in 2023. She was all tournament in the Allen tournament. She was the MVP for the Pflugerville Nancy Walling Classic. She was the Caprock tournament MVP, District 4-5A MVP, All City MVP, TABC All Region, TABC All State, Max Preps All American First Team, Max Preps National Junior of the Year, Naismith, prestigious Naismith First Team All American, Naismith Girls High School Player of the Year finalist, only junior on the list of 5. The 2024 Overtime Select Captain, Max Preps Player of the Year, Dave Campbell's Miss Texas Basketball Player of the Year, presented by Chicken Express. First, I don't get any NIL for me. No NIL for me. First ever female high school diarist for Slam Magazine, TABC Girls 5A Individual Free Throw Champion, TABC Girls 5A Individual 3-point Champion, Free Throw and 3-point Champion, TABC, TGCA All-Star Team, TGCA Athlete of the Year, which she'll be presented with the Executive Director with an award here in a few weeks, I hope. He's going to come and present that award to you. THSCA Super Elite Team Most Valuable Player, ESPN Women's 100's #1 prospect for the class of 2025, and with an unwavering dedication to her craft and relentless work ethic, Aaliyah continues to impress fans and critics alike with her incredible talent and skill on the court. Keep an eye on this rising star as she continues to make waves in the world of basketball. And we will end with one last mention in her introduction. So please congratulate the Texas Girls Basketball Gatorade Player of the Year, Aaliyah Chavez.
important to know she's a great student, too.
Is that your doing, Jack?
Hey, let's get the rest of the trustees in here. Yep, come on in. Coach, thanks. Good job. Keep it up, okay, Coach. Hey, Coach, good luck to you. Come back. Yeah, we're done. Thank you.
Oh, is this yours? That's yours.
I'm leaving ladies first. And I think a little birdie said she got top plainsman last night, something like that. Another award. At this time, it is 7:27 a.m. An executive closed session will be held under the provisions of Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. We are adjourned to closed session.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Got everybody in here? Rick, we got them all in right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is 7:41 a.m. We are reconvened from executive session. Do we have any action items following executive session?
We do.
Let me wake up here, Bill. Sorry about that. I move that we hire Jamie Martinez as the Director of Special Services for Specialized Instruction.
Have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Congratulations, Ms. Martinez.
I just want to thank the board and Dr. Rollo for this opportunity to allow me to serve the students and alongside the staff of specialized instruction. I look forward to the upcoming school year. Yeah.
Thank you.
And being first, also supporting me here today is my husband, Frankie, of 41 years, and my beautiful daughter, Dunya. Awesome.
All right.
Mr. President,
Trustee Brady?
I move that we hire Dr. Cicely Alexander as the Executive Director of Counseling and College Career Readiness.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Congratulations, Dr. Alexander.
Thank you so much. Good morning to Dr. Rollo, President Stubblefield, and all of the Board of Trustees. I just consider it an honor and a privilege to serve and to go back to one of my first loves as serving as a counselor. And we know that counselors definitely are a foundation and undergird the district and serve with compassion. So it's indeed an honor, and I look forward to actually working alongside Charlotte and learning and working with her. I also want to take this time to just give deference and a huge thanks to my current and former role of serving the LPN and the campuses, Hodges, Alderson, Irvin, and Dunbar, all of the administrators and teachers and staff, Alice, Drew, Jocelyn, and Natalie will forever hold a special place in my heart as sisters. And I just thank God for my husband and soulmate Ben, who's here, and my children. And lastly, I give praise to God. And I just ask that He will continue to guide me and to give me wisdom as I serve in this new capacity. Thank you, Dr. Rollo, and just for all of you for believing in me in this role. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Vice President Bridges?
Yes, thank you. Next, I move that we hire Tina Wiley-Williams as the principal of Irvin Elementary School.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, giving all praises to God from whom all blessings flow, because I truly count it all joy. I truly count it a blessing to stand before you here today. I just want to express my deepest gratitude to Lubbock Independent School District, to the school board, Dr. Rollo, for blessing me with this opportunity to continue to work on this campus and in the capacity of principal. I have an amazing support group here with me today. I have my husband, Marcus Williams, my parents, Buford and Rosemary Wiley, my sister all the way from Irvin, who surprised me this morning when she popped out of the car, my sister, Amber Wiley. I would like to thank my church family at Community Baptist Church under the leadership of Larry Brooks. I would like to thank my amazing, my phenomenal Irvin family, who was always supportive and loving me. I would like to thank Dr. Cicely Alexander for her guidance. And most of all, I would love to thank Jocelyn Cotton, who has grown me and poured into me and developed me and loved me and prayed for me and has truly modeled what amazing leadership looks like. I am truly honored to have this opportunity, so thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to what this journey brings. Thank you.
Jerry Curry.
Mr. President, I move that we hire William Smith as the principal of Dunbar College Preparatory Academy.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Congratulations, Mr. William Smith.
Thank y'all so much. Thank all the members of the board. Thank everyone here, everyone that did little shout outs when my name was announced. That just solidifies even more that this is definitely right now where I'm supposed to be. God put it on my heart. It's always been on my heart, but he heavy last few months that I was supposed to get back in the trenches and get back to being able to hug on kids and love on kids every single day. Opportunity arose, and it just when God works and he puts you where you're supposed to be, everything just lines out and works out how it's supposed to, and that's definitely what happened. I look forward. I'm so excited getting back, going back home. My wife jokes with me about Dunbar. It's been a long time coming, and this is what it was supposed to be. I'll be quick. I want to thank my wife for being here, my rock, my inspiration. She was up here several times last year. I figured I needed to do something to maybe try to catch up with my coverage. One of my two loves, that's my baby girl, Kaylee. She definitely keeps me on my toes and makes sure that I walk a straight line. The other piece of my heart's in New York. Hopefully she's watching, getting ready to go to class. So just want to say thank you to everyone again. I look forward to this opportunity. I'm ready to get back in the trenches. I'm ready to work, and just thank you again for all the support, and let's go Panthers.
Trustee Ratliff.
Thank you, President Stubblefield. I move that we hire Nikki Beatty as the principal of McKenzie Middle School.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Bailey.
Good morning. Wow, I second the woo. So thank you so much, President Stubblefield, Dr. Rollo, the Board of Trustees, for this opportunity. I really appreciate you putting the trust and just, whoa, this is nerve-wracking. More nerve-wracking than I expected. But thank you for the trust. I do want to say a couple of very special thank yous. Damon McCall and Karina Cruz for pouring into me and teaching me everything I know as a teacher. And then the guidance and leadership of Chris Huber within the Principal Fellowship, and then under Marty Makuta, and now Chrissy Gillespie over at Cavazos. I just feel so loved on, and I think that's a strength of our district, is just the mentorship. So I look forward to working alongside them. Thank you again for just the trust and the leadership that you've poured into me, and that I will continue to carry forward at McKenzie Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, with me today, sorry to forget you, my fiance Jenna, who loves and supports me. It's so hard to be with an educator and love on an educator, so thank you for supporting all the time it takes.
Trustee Chavez.
Yes, we do, Bill. I move that we hire Josie Cedillo as the principal of O.L. Slayton Middle School.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Congratulations.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I first want to thank God. I believe that He had a plan in place, and I just want to follow through with the plan. This is my placement. President Stubblefield, Dr. Rollo, leadership teams, the rest of the school board, thank you for trusting me, believing in me to lead this campus. I thank you to my LHS family. Thank y'all for being here, always encouraging me. Unfortunately, Mr. Young couldn't be here today, but he has played a big role in developing me as a leader, so I thank him. I've learned from all of you, and I'm going to cherish the great administration teams that we have built together. To my family, thank you for being here. They're my support system. I'm sorry, I get emotional with them. I appreciate y'all. My sons, Christian and Braden, my daughter Avery, and of course my husband Felix, always encourage me, support me, and he has played Mr. Mom several nights, and he knows he's going to continue to do that. So he pushes me to be a better person every day.
Amen.
So I am very thankful to be in this role, to be a part of the O.L. Slayton family, the community that has been built. Chris Lopez, follow with the systems that he has built, and just continue the growth that's happening there. Thank you again.
Thank you. Trustee Brady.
Thank you, President Stubblefield. I move that we hire Dr. Tiffany Longoria as the principal of the Talkington School for Young Women Leaders.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Dr.
Great morning, President Stubblefield, Dr. Rollo, Board of Trustees. It's an honor to be named principal of Margaret Talkington School for Young Women Leaders. Personally, it's something I feel very passionate as leading a campus that targets first-generation graduates. Being a first-generation graduate myself, I understand the transformative power of education. I'd like to thank Mrs. Julie Wyatt for her mentorship and her guidance and her support and her friendship. I'd also like to thank Dr. McCall for his answering my many questions and being there for me as well. Here with me celebrating in my joy this morning, I have my daughter Savannah Terry, who's a proud educator at Estacado High School. Her husband Cash Terry, veteran Marine and served in Afghanistan, and their daughter Kinsey Terry, who is a student at Hutchinson Middle School. And again, I thank you for entrusting me with this great opportunity. Thank you.
Trustee Chavez.
Well, last but not least, I move that we ratify the assignment of Alice Jimenez as the principal at Bean Elementary. Where are you? There she is. Come on.
You got a motion. Is there a second?
Oh, well, I like to get ahead of myself, okay? I get excited.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Alice.
You know the program too well.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Rollo, and good morning, Board of Trustees. Thought I did all my crying yesterday, so I'm going to try to get through this, but I just want to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, number one, for the opportunity to be able to have served Hodges for 11 years, 5 as AP and 6 as the principal. I love my staff and my students there and my parents, and we did some pretty amazing things. So I just need to make sure that they know that I love them, and that I know they will continue the work. But God told me a few weeks ago that I needed to move on. And I know that Leticia, I know she's here somewhere, has started some amazing things at Bean, and just know that I will continue all those things. And I am looking forward to meeting the staff, the parents, and the students. I've heard some really great things, and so just know that I look forward to this journey, and I will always do my very best. I don't have anyone here today.
You have all of us.
There's so many people that I would love to thank that I've had the opportunity to be mentored by, to know the past 20-something years that I've been in education.
That's awesome.
And if I started saying their names, I know a song might start playing, so I'm not going to do that. But I would love to thank Dr. Cicely Alexander for the past I think 4 or 5 years. She has been a great support and a great mentor, and I just really appreciate. I don't think I would have been able to do what we've done at Hodges without her leadership. So thank you very much, and have a great day.
At this time, we'll open the dais for trustee comments. Trustees?
Goodness.
So congratulations, of course, to everyone in your new roles, where you've left, the wonderful things that you've left, the position you're leaving, but the great positions that you're stepping into. It's very exciting. But I also want to recognize this room and how this shows the strength of our family, of our Lubbock ISD family. And you're here to support these individuals who are doing something great for our district. You are doing things that are great for our district, and I just want to thank you for being here and showing your support and pouring into each other every day, because this is what is making our district succeed and making us better across the whole district. So thank you.
Congratulations. Can't have to just reiterate again what my colleague just said. True story. You guys are all camaraderies with each other. It shows here today. Alice, as you can see, you had everybody here. You have everybody's support. One time or another, you guys have all met at one time and spoke about other projects or what you guys could do together. But at the end of the day, I want to congratulate the folks that have moved on to new journeys, and congratulations to the ones beginning a new journey. We're excited to see what's going to happen, and know that we're here to support you. Whatever it is that we can do as trustees to help you, please reach out. That's why we're here, to be along with you in the new journeys. And congratulations to our students, qualifiers this morning, and Ms. Chavez. What a great opportunity. But again, this only says what kind of kids and teachers that we have here at Lubbock Independent School District, who we truly are. Look at the kids, the qualifiers. Anna, look at where she's going. Ms. Chavez, I'm excited. Again, this happened because of the teachers, her parents, and the staff. Congratulations to each and every one of you.
So I'm going to continue with recognizing just the amount of support in the room. And if you want to feel good about knowing that we've made the right decisions, standing room only out the door says that all of you are loved and cared for, and we're all excited for your new opportunities, and thank you all for what you do. And one of our key metrics, right, that we are that are one of our goals is CCMR, College Career Military Readiness. This morning we had the opportunity to recognize both, right, with the Doyle Vogler scholarships, and I'm sure more people will speak more eloquently about how just impactful that is to all of us. But recognizing those students, and Trustee Brady was talking about the Baylor and Texas Tech and all of the great things those students are going to do, but also the HOSA recipients, as well as the Skills USA. So getting ready to be amazing chefs, and in any trade that we all know we need those so well. And so I feel like we're doing great things in our district for both, college, career, and military. And so just wanted to give a shout out to all of them as well.
Mr. President, thank you. Really special morning for lots of reasons. Students from across disciplines, like we're so often so fortunate to have, theater to culinary arts to healthcare to the hardwood. And I really appreciated Principal Perky Pyle singing out on the way up here. She's also an excellent student. right? And so many of those young people that we recognize this morning are also excellent students in the classroom academically. We often recognize folks that excel just in that area as well, but I think that's so important to realize that our teachers and our campus leadership are helping young people become well-rounded people and hopefully therefore become productive citizens. The recognition of our friend Doyle Vogler this morning through the first recipients of his the scholarship named in his honor was a special moment for all of us, and I know for all of the LISD family. As Trustee Ratliff alluded to, 3 of the 6 that were here this morning, 3 of those young people are headed to Texas Tech, 2 to Lubbock Christian, and 1 to Baylor University. Would love to know what the rest of them are doing when I get to meet them sometime. I want folks to do well. I know all of y'all do, no matter what career path they choose. I couldn't help but hope that maybe 1 or 2 of those young people would pursue a career in education. And is a fitting way to honor Doyle, who I know personally taught me an awful lot about the actual down in the trenches work of being in the school business and what it means to relate to students and meet them where they are and try to help them get a little bit further than where they are now every day, and caring about every kid every day. Doyle exemplified that. As to the campus leadership portion of the program, quite the program today. First thing I want to do is congratulate Dr. Rollo for continuing in trying times between our budget constraints and just the nature of the, quite frankly, age of the workforce in public ed, especially in administration. You've got so much turnover to deal with. Shortages all over the state means that local issues are tougher to deal with, and you just continue to work with and develop leaders, and that's our most important job responsibility as leaders of an organization, is to make sure that there are folks in place who can step up. And the role that you play in that and the way that you deputize, if you will, the folks that work with you to also develop leaders is acknowledged and appreciated so much. Lots of folks were recognized this morning and are going to continue or begin important leadership assignments. I couldn't help but note that, quite frankly, several of you have jobs coming up that have challenges as part of those that we're going to require extraordinary efforts and a little bit of luck and a little bit of grace and a lot of just good old-fashioned elbow grease. There's a lot of work to be done across the district, but certainly in some of these assignments. And I struggled a little bit last night as I thought about these remarks on whether to mention anybody, because there's so many people that I respect and admire that we recognize this morning. But I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you and Godspeed to a couple of the people that we recognized and a couple of the folks that are starting on new assignments. First, Josie Cedillo. Josie, you have been just a really steadying force, I know, at Lubbock High. You have been personally a very positive force in both of my kids' journey through that building and through their high school education, and I appreciate it, and I wish you nothing but the best at OL and to come. I mean that. Finally, maybe as hard as talking about Doyle, to my friend Dr. Cicely Alexander, thank you. You mentioned LPN. We made an unprecedented investment, and in an unprecedented structure in East Lubbock. This board and Dr. Rollo took a leap of faith to begin that work. There is a time for everything, and that work moved the needle forward. There is still an awful lot more work to be done in those schools and elsewhere in the district under now a more conventional organizational arrangement. Your work, your willingness to both inspire and do work, and your willingness to undertake this next phase of your personal and professional journey is important and is noted and appreciated very, very much. I don't know anybody who gets up every day with more positive energy for kids than Cicely Alexander. It is somewhere between inspiring and annoying some days if you know and love Cicely. But one thing that you cannot ever question is that Cicely loves kids and loves them where they are. And one of my very early conversations with Cicely about this part of her life and our lives, I suppose, was when she was at Alderson. And I remember going over there to Alderson and Cicely telling me how she and her executive team, leadership team, would go into the neighborhood and find those babies at the house and get them to the schoolhouse. And that stuck with me, right? God Almighty, it ought to stick with you. And that's the kind of attitude that Cicely brings wherever she is. And can't wait to see what's next. Thank you, friend.
I'll just start really quickly and again, echoing all of my colleagues' comments. I think first and foremost, we need to recognize all the parents and the families of these students in the room. This is impossible without, having that kind of support. Coming from a family where my mom and sister are both educators, you really have to have a heart for it. And it's not an easy job, and you guys should be very, very proud of yourselves for what y'all done. And again, that goes to the families and the people just in the LISD family. And I just think that, again, the support in this room really shows, and it's a very exciting time for LISD. So thank you, Dr. Rollo.
A lot of great things have been said, so I will be much quicker since Zach used my time.
Got the low bar.
That's enough.
Again, this morning, I think it's cool that we were able to recognize some students who are excelling in maybe non-traditional things. Again, there's a lot of ways that our students excel, and all of them are equally as important as some of the things that maybe are show ponies throughout the district. Specifically, and I know Jack said something, and Zach kind of reiterated that, but getting kind of a front row seat at Monterey, you talk to people within that campus, and as great as Aaliyah is on the court, I would argue that everybody in that campus would say she's a better human and a better student and a better friend than she is a basketball player. So if that tells you anything about that young lady, and I appreciate her, she's put women's athletics and Lubbock on the map, and she's done it in a way that I don't think most 17, 18-year-olds could do it. I think if most of us had that success, there would be a strong arrogance among us. And so to the support in the room, thank everybody for coming. Specifically, thank you to the principals who have loved on these APs, who have now stepped into roles. They wouldn't be where they're at without the guidance and the love of the people who showed an interest in their career. And I know there's more than one in each of their lives that has done that. Congratulations to all of the promotions today. Josie and Cicely, obviously personal relationship there, and so proud of you guys. Will, man, who would have thought 24 years ago we could have thought we'd be here? Proud of you for what you're doing, the challenge that you've accepted to continue to love on the community at Dunbar is noteworthy. and you could have stayed up here and sat in your office and, you know, continued that. But much love to you, and I wish you nothing but success. And then lastly, I hope those 8 recipients, or 10, know how special the man is that is being honored with the scholarships that they've gotten. To all the credit in this room, I don't know that there's anybody that represented LISD in public education better than my friend Doyle. I miss our talks. We might call him something else if we were in a different session. But he was a dear friend, and he was one of the best educators I've ever had the pleasure of knowing.
Doyle lives on, and this is one of the greatest ways that he lives on. Keeping his memory alive and the love that he has for education. Because love is timeless, love is eternal. Love never ends. He's a great, great man, and he's done so much for Lubbock ISD, so much for the state of Texas in education. I'm gonna step off of there because, yeah. I wanna say thank you to each trustee on this board for doing difficult work, hard work, navigating through mountains and valleys, and helping to guide and lead this district in a way with your heart and your passion and your compassion. Thank you to Dr. Rollo for the decisions, keeping us abreast. And we know, as Zach has said, there are some difficult decisions that are behind you, some you're standing on currently, and some that are ahead of you. And we have no doubt that the Lord will lead you in the way to make those decisions. We've recognized some phenomenal students that come from some great parents through economic disadvantages, social incivilities, and of every level of tension that exists within this current climate. Our children are doing the best that they can, and our parents are bringing the best that they have to these schools. We see that they're going to be in great hands, and some phenomenal hands, with everyone that was recognized today that we approved for positions. Ms. Beatty got a vested interest in McKinsey, a great vested interest there. I have no doubt that you will nurture and cultivate that team that's there and bring it to a level that this district hasn't seen before. We'll be talking about recognitions coming from there for years to come. I want to take a moment to thank somebody special. He doesn't really know it, but thanks, Coach. Appreciate all the time that you've invested in young men and young women in East Lubbock. If you don't know, Coach Buford Wiley coached at Dunbar. And he fed a lot of kids. Raised a lot of kids. And I just happen to be privileged to be one of those kids that he could talk to, that he could be stern with and firm with and get on the right path. He's endured a lot of hardships, and to see him here today, to watch his daughter get a job as a principal, who is a Lubbock native, who was a stellar basketball player in her day at Dunbar, and decided to invest in the kids who helped to raise my children. And now you get to lead a campus that a phenomenal first lady has placed in your care. Sister Cotton, thank you so much for what you've done for the Irvin family, for the East Lubbock community, and what you continue to do, because everything that you've poured in will be there in Tina. I'm so proud of you. I thank God for you being there and everything that you've done. Bless you so much. And then to Will, wow, just like Ryan said, man, who'd have thought when we prayed about this and talked about this that we would be where we are right now. Several folks don't know that Will and I used to, I don't even know if I should say this. We worked for a charter school together. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And it was just a moment where the Lord was leading me in a path and leading him. And now look at us here, you know. And I have no doubt that being a former AP at Dunbar and knowing what it takes, when Will Smith was at Dunbar, the referrals, the disciplinary referrals were virtually non-existent. I'll never forget that Dunbar had zero altercations and zero referrals for like 18 weeks from the bus. From the bus drivers. That y'all don't get it when we're talking about the problems on the bus. But he was instrumental in that. So I am excited, so excited to see you there at Dunbar, and it does my heart good. It does. It's so many, everybody in here, Josie. Everything's been said about how you've poured into Lubbock High. Alice, Hodges is going to be all right because of what you, Dr. Alexander, have done and set in motion. It's going to be okay. And the next step of the journey is going to be okay. It is. Every school that we've hired somebody for today, it's going to be all right, y'all. It's going to be okay. This district is in some great hands, some phenomenal hands. First Lady Alexander, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've always been a superstar counselor. That skill is a light and a fire that burns within you so passionately and so amazingly. And we know that our counselors in this district, they need it. Thank Charlotte. Charlotte, I don't see you. I know you're out here somewhere. There you go. Because I was telling her I just don't know if there's anybody that could come after her, and now I do. I do, because y'all share a kindred spirit on what it needs in real counseling today with our kids, and I'm excited about that. I think every counselor should be celebrated that they're not for the phenomenal leader that is now embarking on her journey and riding off in the sunset, has left it in a great place and in great hands. Thank you for so much. And I'm just excited because now your presence gets to go all over this district. That is what I'm excited about, just like what Zach said. That joy and that tenacity and that inspiration is going to be on every campus because of our counselors. It's so much that I'm thankful for and appreciative for in this room. And I want to thank God for Tiffany, Dr. Longoria. And I say that because everybody that I'm talking about, we've actually prayed together. And when we look at this room, I believe that a family that prays together stays together. And I am so happy that this place is in good hands. It's in good hands. So thank you to all of you, Misty, Rick. Thank you for everything that you've done here lately. To Damon, to Shay, and the struggles and the battles that you face personally, and you still show up every day with a smile on your face. So, Dr. Rollo.
When I look at these people who are stepping into new leadership roles, I just want to thank you for exemplifying We Are Lubbock ISD leadership definition. We are so grateful to each of you for saying yes and for taking your skill set and mindset to the next level. I'm grateful for our students who are recognized today, but I'm also extremely grateful for this Board of Trustees, and for 3 of you, this is your last formal meeting with us. And so, Bill, Zach, and Chris, from the bottom of my heart, I want to publicly say thank you for your guidance, your vision, your courage, your tenacity, for holding me accountable, for the love and support. Thank you so much.
Just think how much shorter your meetings will be.
We're going to take a recess because there are a lot of pictures that need to be taken from a lot of people that just got into great positions. It's 8:21, and we'll stand in recess for till about 8:30. If we can get all those pictures done in 9 minutes. Yeah. So we'll hope to. We stand in recess. 8:42 a.m. and we are convened from the recess. The next item on the agenda is citizens' comments, item number 6. The next order of business is citizens' comments, but before we begin, I would like to review the provisions of board policy governing the procedures for public participation as reflected in BED Local. The audience shall not enter into discussion or debate in the matters being considered by the board. I will remind members of the board that the citizen comment section of our board is for the purpose of listening to patrons, but we are not allowed to comment or debate on issues that are not posted. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes, and a timer will go off in the completion of 3 minutes. I would ask that you conclude your comments within the time limit allowed. As I call your name, if you would come to the podium and state your name for the record. First, I'd like to invite Phyllis Gambles to the podium.
Good morning, I'm Phyllis Gambles. Really excited for the appointments that happened here today. However, as a East Lubbock District 2 citizen, I'm really concerned about the hiring process. I'm sure everyone is capable for the position they were given, specifically Dunbar. That gentleman was at Dunbar and left for whatever reason. As an NAACP Legal Redress Chair, the majority of our issues come from HR. Things are not being done properly. This gentleman comes from HR. So I'm very concerned about that. That appointment has been made. So we'll be boots on the ground at Dunbar. My next issue is a huge announcement made by Lubbock ISD. I thought it was very exciting. Campuses for Holsworth Leadership Program. It was exciting to me until I realized no Alderson, no Dunbar, no Irving, no Estacado, no O.L. Slayton schools. Every child, every day, except for East Lubbock.
I'd like to invite Morgan Kirkpatrick to the podium.
Good morning. Morgan Kirkpatrick, 7700 block of Quaker. The first time that I learned that the Lippon Apache people inhabited Texas and specifically the South Plains area was when I read Elatsaway, a young adult novel by Darcy Little Badger with my 7th graders in the fall of 2021. I was born and raised here and attended Lubbock ISD, but through the novel study with my students, it felt as if we had discovered hidden history. This is why I, along with the NAACP Lubbock branch and Lubbock Compact, jumped at the opportunity to support the Ethnic Studies Network of Texas in their work to get the American Indian Native Studies course approved by the Texas State Board of Education. In February of 2020, Grand Prairie ISD hosted a conversation for Native Studies in collaboration with American Indian Heritage Day and Texas Christian University. The goal was to bring community members together to guide the development of a high school ethnic studies course focused on and from the perspective of American Indian, Native, and Indigenous peoples. In the 3.5 years since this process began, 24 volunteers, including Native community members, parents, university and community college professors, teachers, and Grand Prairie ISD staff have generously volunteered their time and expertise to develop a complete draft of course standards for the American Indian Native Studies course. After piloting the course in 2021 and 2022, GPISD participated in the Texas State Board of Education work groups to update the social studies standards, and the course was submitted to the TEA through an innovative course application in January of 2023. Through a 6-month process, this committee worked with TEA staff to produce a final draft of the course that was successfully granted innovative course status in the summer of 23. They developed an updated pilot and resources for the course, and currently there are school districts all over Texas that have been able to implement this innovative course. Given the many years of review and the robust services available, the course is fair, factual, rigorous, and balanced. It is high quality and is ready to be adopted at the district level. So I would urge Lubbock ISD to begin the process of offering the course in the 2024-2025 school year, or as soon as possible. We also recommend that the resources needed to support the course are provided, including identifying and supporting teachers to teach the course, taking part in professional development offered by Grand Prairie ISD, updating counselors and principals about the course, and marketing the course to students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kirkpatrick. Item number 7, as we move into the financials, I would ask, do we have any members of the public who would like to address the board regarding any of the board agenda items posted? Seeing none, we shall continue. Approval of budget summary reports for the month ending March 31st, 2024. Budget amendments and budget transfers for the month of March 2024. Statement of taxes collected for the same period, and the investment report for the period of March 1st through March 31st, 2024. Jay Jennings.
Good morning, President Stubblefield, members of the board, and Dr. Rollo. Before I present the financials, I would just like to take just a moment to thank President Stubblefield and Mr. Brady for your service on the board. Bill, you always exemplify grace and wisdom and have helped me through many challenging times. Likewise, Mr. Brady. We've faced some very difficult financial decisions, and I'm a better leader and a better person for knowing both of you. So thank you very much, and I will miss you very much.
Thank you, Shay.
So on to financials for March 31st. We had tax collections right now are sitting at 95.21% of our anticipated adjusted levy. This time last year, we were sitting at 100%. So as we are looking forward to next year's budget and what percent to estimate tax collections at, that's something to keep in mind. Expenditures and revenues are both sitting currently at about 75% of our budget, which is right where we would expect them to be. We had some amendments for the month. We had a $1.7 million amendment for the recognition of some held claim revenue, and then a small amendment of $187,000 for monitors, desktops, and switches. I'll be happy to answer any further questions.
Trustees, any questions, comments?
Motion to approve is presented.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 8 on the consent agenda. Consider board approval of the minutes for the workshop meeting held March 7, 2024, and called public hearing and regular meeting held March 28, 2024. Trustees, the minutes were part of your packet and board book, so you've had a chance to review them. Do we have any corrections for the minutes from the March meeting or the board as printed and distributed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved as printed. Item 9, academic action items. Approval of interlocal agreement with Region 17 Education Service Center for the TEA LASSO Strong Foundations Grant. Dr. Rollo.
Yes, so we applied for and received the Strong Foundations Grant through TEA, and a provision of that is that we partner with Region 17 to provide supports throughout the implementation of this grant. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Trustees, any questions? Just as far as like the LASSO grant, just a small brief description, Ms. Deal, what that grant is?
Sure, absolutely. So the purpose around this grant that we applied for was to work through elementary Eureka Math. It provides professional development. It helps with curriculum supports. It provides extra training for teachers, training for administrators, and then make sure that the implementation goes well as we move forward.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Approval of right, of the TIC certification 2024-25-4. Dr. Rollo.
Yes, this is just an annual item. This is preparing us for next year. We just have to have your approval to show that the materials that we are using to teach instruction are aligned to the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills.
Trustees, any comments? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Approval of instructional materials, adoption for K through 12 science, selected CTE courses, and personal financial literacy and economics. Dr. Rowe.
Yes, so these are the materials for science. That is the subject area that is up for adoption for this upcoming school year, and also some selected CTE courses and personal financial literacy and economics. And so these have gone through our process and are the materials that have been selected. And we do have teachers who are involved in the committee to select these materials.
Thank you for sharing. Any questions, comments, trustees? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Lala. Thank you, Jason. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say. Motion passes unanimously. Approval of fentanyl prevention and drug poisoning awareness education. Dr. Rilla.
Yes, so out of the last legislative session, House Bill 3908 required that districts must adopt a fentanyl prevention and drug poisoning awareness curriculum. And you guys passed a resolution to charge SHAC with reviewing different options to meet this requirement. And so I want to thank Paulette and Catherine Wells. Paulette serves as the district leader for the SHAC committee, and Catherine serves as the community chair of that committee. They reviewed multiple options, and the one that we're bringing to you today is the Houston Crime Stoppers program. And they would be happy to answer questions if you would like more information about that.
Trustees, anyone?
I'd like to see what it's going to look like. Do you guys have any information on that?
I shared it with you in Friday's update.
Yeah, but so that everybody else could also hear it too.
You want to just give a description of it?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
I was going to say
Good morning, Board of Trustees.
Catherine, good morning to you as well.
Yeah, the SHAC committee reviewed 5 or 6 different curriculum items that were available in our community to fill the goals or the intention of HB 3908. The one that I was most impressed with, along with all of the SHAC members, was the option from the Houston Crime Stoppers. They will be able to come in person and also provide an online or a video recorded option. We really like this because it really limited bias and it didn't have a lot of drama in it. We felt that it was giving very factual information to our students, something that we as parents felt like could be shared with our students appropriately. It was very professional and very good tone and demeanor and very evidence-based and factual. So it's going to be, there's a whole, and I can share with you, there's a whole PowerPoint slide deck that is included with this that will be available for parents to look at.
Nice.
But it's really going through the risks of using drugs, any type of drugs, also risks around vaping. There's some suicide prevention and also prevention efforts on how to use Narcan. So we just felt that it was very comprehensive and hit many of the issues that are facing our young people in school.
Thank you so much. I think that's so much needed, the education end of it. It's needed across the district, across the city, so thanks for
I'm
the
excited
outreach.
about it, and I feel great about both of my girls that are enrolled being exposed to this curriculum.
Absolutely.
And what grade levels will this be appropriate for?
6 through 12
Okay.
is the requirement under this bill.
Have we looked at any age-appropriate curriculum for younger grades?
SHAC did not. There is some curriculum, or I'll let.
We do have curriculum for younger grades around other topics. There's a age-appropriate suicide prevention curriculum.
Yeah, I'm just interested in age-appropriate on this topic in particular because of what I call the Smarties problem. You know, little rolls of multicolored mints. I mean, it's horrible that we have this issue in the world, but we do, and we're not getting away from it. And so I would encourage those of you who are in a much better position than any of us to evaluate the age appropriateness of a curriculum starting, I hate to say it, but before middle school.
Yeah, we
It's
certainly
already hit
can.
in our elementary, so
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with Zach.
We charge them with 6 through 12.
Sure,
But-
I get it, and I appreciate that work, I'm just, something to think about.
Kathy, I mean, I've shared my thoughts on this, but given the fact that we're doing this so late, is this, this is an annual requirement, so can we consider doing it earlier in the fall next year? Because I don't love that we're doing this in May.
Yeah.
Kids have checked out, teachers have checked
Yes.
out,
Yeah.
this has gone longer than it should have.
We agree. So this will take place in May for this year, but we already have plans for, it will be written in for the fall, for next school year, and
When
then it'll be
kids come in.
recurring every year.
Okay.
Yes.
And we'll stay with this program?
Yes, sir.
Like until it changes or whatever?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One of the things that I heard you sort of repeat, Catherine, several times is fact-based. Is there other training out there that is not offering the facts and the best research?
Yeah, we looked at some other trainings that tended to use a lot more scare tactics, and we just felt that we really wanted something that came in and talked about the risks, and just really, this one just felt right for the culture of Lubbock, for what our kids are facing, and I really liked that it was, really evidence-based, a lot of research behind it, a lot of facts. The other thing is they allowing us to put in community resources that are for the Lubbock area. So they will talk about, what Star Care has to offer, what Health Department has to offer, what some of our nonprofits have in the community, both for youth and then what's also available for adults, so they go home and share that with their parents.
When we share it with the parents prior to, can we make sure, and this may already be included, but the two videos weren't able to, I couldn't click it through the PowerPoint, but I think that'd be important for the parents, given some of the past, parents not
Absolutely.
feeling like they were able to review everything. I think that would be important.
We'll probably put it on our
Ahead of
website,
time.
We will.
and that way parents can go to the website and view it.
Okay.
Yeah, but we
But
can
the
make it
actual
available both in
videos that are-
video and in PowerPoint so that you can scroll through. Yes, sir.
That's a
Thank
great
y'all.
idea.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Thank you to you in the
Catherine.
shack.
Thank you, Paulette.
Thanks.
Absolutely. I just want to remind trustees that the documents are in extras, the fentanyl presentation, as well as the SHAC annual report
Yes, sir.
are within our packet. All right? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you, Lala. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Phil.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Item 10 on the agenda, administrative action items. Approval of resolution for participating in Purchasing Cooperative of America. Rick Rodriguez.
Yes, good morning, Board of Trustees, Pastor Stubblefield. I too would like to take a personal point of privilege to thank both of you, Pastor Stubblefield and Mr. Brady, for your service on this board. I thank you for your, on a personal level, your trust and your confidence, and on a professional level, for your support and your accountability for me. So I too am a better individual and person because of my interactions with you all. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Rick.
Let's get past that. So this resolution is it's just, in essence, the easiest way to say it is buying power. We're harnessing buying power by getting into this co-op. Just allows us to better use our funds and stretch our resources for buying power. That's all it is.
Trustees, any?
Move approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brady, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Approval of investment grade audit agreement with Schneider Electric. Rick?
Thank you again, Pastor Stubblefield. This is an item that we're pleased to bring forward. We have been working with Schneider Electric to try to look for efficiencies. Schneider Electric approached us about doing a sampling of our buildings just to see a business case analysis to see if it was worth us looking at some of the services that they could offer. They did that at no cost to the district. And the result of that is that it would be in our best interest financially to consider partnering with them. The next step in this process is to enter into this investment grade audit. This is not necessarily costing us anything at this point. It's just simply authorizing them to do the investment grade audit. The simple explanation of this is that if the district, as a result, after getting the results of the audit, were to choose to say, hey, thank you for that, we're not going to do anything, then there is absolutely an exit fee just to cover the cost of the studies that they're going to be doing. We have made it very crystal clear with our meetings, and Charlie and Brett are here somewhere. There they are. We've made it crystal clear through several meetings. We have no extra resources, and so they have assured us with significant confidence that the projects that are a part of this investment grade audit that they're suggesting that we look at are going to produce some long-term savings for us, and there's different ways for us to go about covering, but the simple is that through cost savings, the project could potentially not cost us anything and eventually not increase any cost. Let me say it that way. It's a better way to say it. And then eventually provide savings for us. And so different things that we could consider. Lighting is the easiest and low-hanging fruit. There's some other projects listed in the audit that they're going to look at for us. And through the cost savings, we'll be able to then decide as a district. We will bring another item for you, a construction item for you, once we're ready after we've studied that. We have had Snyder Electric come and present to facilities as well as Finance Committee just to talk through that. With those of you that have served on that committee, you all had the opportunity to ask questions and have asked some very good questions. And so, but I'll be happy, or Charlie and Brett, either one would be happy to answer any specific questions you have.
Rick, for the benefit of the group, and we talked about this, I don't think I was in facilities, I think it was finance, but the fee that we might owe, as long as we do a project, there's zero fee, regardless of the scope of that project.
That is my understanding. That's correct.
It's relevant to the actual construction project, the design and engineering.
And what's the time frame, and how long will the audit last? When might we expect to get some report?
Yeah, Charlie, why don't you come up? I'm going to answer off memory here, but I think we're looking at. Well, let me just stop.
It really just depends on what that scope looks like, but typically it's anywhere from 4 to 6 months of the development of the actual having a construction ready.
Okay, thank you.
So, question: If we go through this process and we decide that none of these financially make sense, and we're going to then compensate you for your time at the end of this, what ballpark price are we talking about?
We came out to
$384,000,
and that's part of the design and engineering for the entire project. And like you said, Mr. Curry, if it is just a smaller one-off phase project, then that will not be y'all will not know that.
So I guess I would then defer to my finance and facilities team members here. Have y'all discussed that and feel like there's
definitely
ample opportunity for us to find a solution for us to invest that type of money into that?
Sure.
Were there other vendors as well you guys spoke to?
We've had other vendors that have approached us, not to the scale of what Snyder Electric is able to provide us. We've had other vendors that come and want to do 2-3 buildings, and quite honestly, it was not something that we chose to engage until we had the opportunity. The great thing about Snyder Electric is that they don't just do lighting. The vendors that have approached us have simply only done lighting. So the great thing about this, and I guess the simplest way to say it, is they are a turnkey operation. So they do, if there's a bidding process that has to be done, they'll take care of that. They'll take care of writing the specs for it. So it's not anything on top of Rob and his facilities team that they'll have to work with. Now they're gonna engage us and partner with us, and they're not gonna do anything on their own. But they will then take care of the nuts and bolts details of the bidding process and securing contractors.
And I would say that we've had presentations and conversations and information for 6 months, 8 months maybe. I mean, so it's not just a one and done meeting that we discussed it. It was really
I wouldn't think
looked
so
at, yeah.
either. I was just curious if there was any other vendors, or if you have seeked out anyone else just for the greater good. to make sure our dollars are being spent wisely since we are in the issues that we're having right now?
Yeah, and so just.
important.
Yes, ma'am. Just to be clear, we are not spending a single dollar. What we're doing is being able to save money, and as a result of being able to save money, we're able to pay for the project. Does that make sense?
That's
So
it does,
So that's how it doesn't cost us any money, and eventually, obviously, the project gets paid for, and then we recapture that savings. And how we pay for that, there's several avenues that we've talked about that we'll bring forward to first to our finance committee to make sure that when we get to that point, once we develop what that scope of the project is, and we can bring it forward for y'all's consideration at that point.
And we'll better know at that point about what a ballpark we
Yes,
might be
ma'am.
saving at
Absolutely.
that point. Okay, perfect.
That's exactly the best way to say it. After the audit, they're going to be able to, with a sharp pencil, and one of the things I want to be crystal clear that they pointed out, they're going to give us a number to project. I'm just going to make up numbers. They're going to say, okay, well, we think based on our audit, you're going to save $2.3 million. Okay. If for whatever reason the district doesn't save that money, then Snyder Electric writes us a check for that balance.
Right.
Okay, good.
Each year, the performance is based on what the savings can actually pay for the project. So the
Okay.
next step, the design, is really building out a project that makes sense for Lubbock ISD.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks, Rick. Thanks,
Yes.
guys, appreciate it.
Rick, Charlie, thank you guys for the presentation that you've given the facilities for several months now. We know that the work that you guys do is exceptional, and we surely appreciate it and look forward to the partnership. Trustees, any more comments or questions? I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously.
Get busy.
Consideration and possible approval of the certification of unopposed candidate for the general election for place 5 of the Board of Trustees election for May 4th, 2024, and consideration and possible approval of the certification of unopposed candidates for the general election for the at-large trustee place of the Board of Trustees elections for May 4th, 2024. Dr. Rowe.
Yes, I really don't have anything to add to that, other than we're excited to have, we'll have John Weddicky and Nancy Sharp joining our team next month. They were unopposed candidates, so these two board items are just an official way of saying that they are unopposed.
Well, congratulations anyways.
Mr. President, do you need a motion?
Motion.
Given that one of these folks represents my district and the other one's going to be taking my seat, I'm very proud to have both of them coming on this board, and also proud to make the motion that we approve this action.
So moved.
Oh, I did that.
Oh, well, I'll go ahead and do it again, okay?
You may second this, Charles, but I have made the motion.
We have a motion by Zach and a second by Lala. All those in favor.
Don't get
please
excited your
indicate by
last day,
saying
Zach.
aye. Aye. All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, folks. Again.
Get a heart attack the last day.
Item number 11, procurement and contracts, approval of district purchases. Rick?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Pastor Stubblefield. We have a lot of, we have actually 7 interlocal agreements for y'all to consider this morning, and 3 purchases. So the interlocal agreements, remember that they're not above the cost threshold, but because they're interlocal agreements, we have to bring them to you for your approval. First one is the dual enrollment program at UT Austin. This is an annual thing that we bring to you. Schools that are on this are Coronado High School, Estacado High School, and Monterey High School, and Talkington School for Young Women Leaders. Lubbock High has the option to participate, and they use their, they stick with their IB stuff, and so that's why they're not on here. Cost could be impacted by a financial aid for SWIFT or FAST if it's approved for next year, so this cost could change. The next couple are for Region 17. Stronger Connections Grant. Special Ed Division received this grant. We're required to give 6% of that grant to Region 17, and that's for additional training and support. The next one below that, we partner with Region 17 for training for reading academies. That's an annual thing. It's better, cost more efficient for us to do this with Region 17 at $12,000 per cohort leader. The next one there is private school curriculum. So we are required to provide services through Region 17. We're not required to use through Region 17. We use Region 17 to meet the requirement for that, and so that's what that private school curriculum listed one is. The administrative services for Texas Tech, one for the validity and bias evaluation of our pre and post test developed for teaching and learning, and the other is related to our teacher incentive allotment evaluation, and that they look at the data for us and give us the data in order for us to make those decisions. The other is the last one of the interlocals is a brownfield, which is we're purchasing some cosmetology equipment and supplies, saving us a significant amount of money rather than purchasing those items new. And so those are the interlocal agreements there. And I have a list of supplies and equipment that I don't understand what they are for cosmetology because my hair is less than needy, and so but I do have some of that information in
And
here
just
for
an
you if you have
FYI,
questions.
Brownfield decided not to continue with cosmetology as an option, so that's why they're selling their equipment.
Okay, then the other three purchases are related to technology, and I'll be happy to try to answer any questions in regards those purchasing of technology equipment.
We looked at the cosmetology equipment ourselves.
Yes.
We went out and
Just
did that.
gonna ask.
Yes.
I noticed
Yes.
it says this is a significant savings.
Right, yes, we had a team from facilities, from Ms. Baker, the CTE team that went actually to visit before we agreed to the purchase. So we know what we're buying.
It's a great question. I was just going to ask that, Bill. Thank you.
And then lastly, this may sound like an erroneous question, but on our reading academies, are they producing results?
So they, yes, it's good professional development, but in addition, it's also required. The state requires it, and so we are continuing that requirement. The options are either we have an employee in our district that is certified to be the leader of the reading academies. We have a coach and we have to pay a service for that, or we can pay per person at $3,000 per person to go to the service center and receive 10 days of training over the school year. And every new employee in K2 and every new principal in elementary and assistant principal is required to do it by law. So it's a significant savings to us to do it this way, and we have greater support for our employees and greater success rates.
Thank you so much.
Pastor Stufford, one other point of clarification on the technology purchases. We are using E-rate funds for those, which those are funds that are reimbursed back to the district that then we are allowed some flexibility to spend on, and so we as a district have chosen to earmark those for technology, and so they're not general fund purchases necessarily, but they're E-rate funds.
Wow. That's a lot for switches, Damon. Wow. All right, I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. All right. Approval of district contract renewals. Rick?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Three items for your consideration. One is our annual facility maintenance agreement with Sodexo, and so we are in year 3 of 5 of that contract. The second one, our child care services agreement with Early Learning Centers of Lubbock. We're year 3 of 5 of that. As y'all recall, we moved them from the Matthews facility to Dupree into our new space there and increased our capacity to allow staff to use that. So we're real excited to continue that partnership with Early Learning Centers. And then some more technology. This is the fiber optic network for the district. It's district-wide.
Rick, with respect to Sodexo, in our conversation yesterday, does this limit our ability to amend services requested, or
As
far as the dollar amount, is it?
No, so the dollar amount is committed, it's the year 3 of contract, but how we operate and how we use that dollar amount is, we can certainly look at that and renegotiate that. The scope cannot change, right? So, but what we do with that money is up for, that's up for discussion.
So there might be some other areas that we could save in the budget that maybe Sodexo could do? Is that what we're talking about, something like that? Or?
Well,
It's already contracted.
I was talking more, looking at the budget items, and
Right.
If we amended the cleaning schedule, or we amended whatever you may have it, given the fact that we're looking at every other budget item, I just wondered if this ties us to, if we're cleaning Monday through Saturday, we have to clean Monday through Saturday, or
Gotcha.
if we're, whatever.
Because the contract is the way it is already read, though, right?
That's
So it's-
correct.
Okay, that stays, correct. Okay, thank you.
The dollar amount.
Yes,
to be
dollar
clear.
amount's correct.
We can look at the contract
Sure.
every year on an annual basis.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passes unanimously. Item 12, District Intruder Detection Audit Report Findings. Dr. Kathy Rowland.
Yes, so we are in the last few of our audit findings, and so I do need to report that we did have a finding at 2 campuses in the last few weeks. We are almost through. The training has actually already taken place to address those, and the corrective action has been taken. But I do have to share publicly that we did have two findings on 2 different campuses in the last few weeks. We have 4 more to go, and then we are finished for the year.
Right. Thank you for that report. This concludes our regular board agenda, and we'll now get ready for the workshop portion of the agenda. It's item 13. Start with progress measures. We'll have a joint presentation with Kim Callison, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. We'll do the district assessment on progress measures. Kim will be followed by Kami Finger, the Assistant Superintendent for School Support and Special Services for the Behavior and Discipline Progress measures.
Good morning, President
Morning.
Stubblefield and board members, Dr. Rollo. It's a pleasure to be here today and talk about teaching and learning with you. We are looking at progress measures from our last district assessment, which was our benchmark, which is our release test from last year. And we haven't had a meeting in a while, a workshop in a while. And so this actually occurred right before spring break. So our students have actually taken the STAR, and they are done. As of Tuesday was our last day, so we have a few kids that are making up, but we're excited to say that testing is over. I know Miranda would be cheering with me right now if she were in here. So looking ahead at, or looking kind of back at our district assessments in our last round and kind of where we were at, just a reminder that the accountability, the cut points for approaches, meets, and masters change every year depending on the test, and honestly depending on how the state does. And so these are significantly, the percentages are significantly different than last year. So we're going to jump right in to the board set measures around our meets levels kids. So our goal for 3rd grade reading is that by the time they take the STAR or have taken the STAR and we get those results back in June, that we will have 52% of our students meeting expectation. And as you can see at our 3rd week mark, 3rd 9-week mark, we were at 47%. And just to give you a little bit of comparison of where we were at compared to last year, those 3rd graders last year at benchmark time were at 18%. So we see quite a huge increase from last year at this time, and where they were at on STAR was at 53%. So we feel good about reading. One of the areas you can see a lot of fluctuation between 9 weeks, remember this includes writing, which is a little bit more subjective of a component. And so we'll have to see kind of, we get feedback from the state in terms of how kids are scored. So we'll be looking closely at that with our teachers and our administrators. A little bit of a visual. Math is our biggest area of concern. Third grade math, you can see our goal is that by STAR we'll be at 50% meets. Last year we were at 42% at this time, and this year we were at 36. So we definitely see a decrease there. Remember that about half of our campuses have implemented new curriculum this year, and I think that is perhaps part of the reason for that dip. One of the things that is different with this curriculum is it spirals through, and so they may not have gotten through everything when they hit that benchmark. And so last year on STAR we were at 46% meets, and so we had a little bit of ways to go. We had about 30 days between when they took the math test and when they actually took the math start on Tuesday. And so some of the things that campuses really focused in on, we're looking at those particular standards that were low. So there was lots of extra intervention around that. I know our coaches spent lots of time pulling small groups, both at the district level and at the campus level, to work on those particular standards and skills. 8th grade reading, our goal is that for achievement, we want to be at 51% meets. At benchmark time, we were at 49, so we were almost there already with about 20 more days to go. Last year's benchmark, we were at 26%, so we almost doubled that. And then on STAR, we were at 49% last year. So very pleased with 8th grade reading. I think that utilizing consistent high caliber and high rigor curriculum is paying off in the area of reading. 8th grade math, that has been an area, if you remember, has been kind of a targeted area for me and for my department. These are our students that are in on-level math. Remember, our Algebra 1 students, about 35% are not included in this number. And our goal is that by STAR, they're at 38% meets. You can see we are at 27% meets. Compared to last year, we were right at double where we were last year. So very pleased by that number. At STAR last year, we were at 23% for 8th grade math. So we've already exceeded where we were at last year for STAR. So very pleased with that.
Kim,
yes, sir. Absolutely.
In committee, we talked about this, and you gave a great answer, but for the sake of the entire board, can you help explain the dip from the second 9 weeks where we're at 45% to the third 9 weeks?
Absolutely. Our first and our second 9 weeks are much shorter assessments. They're only about 20 questions, whereas the third 9 weeks is a full test, and so anywhere between 35 and 45 questions depending on the test and the grade level. And so just building that stamina and making sure that on the other 2 assessments may not have every single type of question and not every single standard is covered, whereas that third 9-week assessment is much more comprehensive and broader. So that might contribute to that dip as well. Thank you for that. Some celebrations. We did have performance achievement measures that increased from the last 9 weeks in English 1, which is an area that we're always looking at. 3rd grade reading, 3rd grade science, middle school science looked great compared to last 9 weeks. 4th and 6th grade social studies and 8th grade social studies approaches. We had significant growth from STAR in 5th grade math and reading. I'm going to show you some numbers on that. 7th grade reading and advanced math, 8th grade reading, math, Algebra 1, English 2, and high school Algebra 1. So lots of areas of celebration, and everybody was up from last year's benchmark in reading, social studies, and science in pretty much every single measure in every single grade level. Math was in 7th, 7 advanced, 8 Algebra 1 at middle school and at high school. Some areas of opportunities, and areas that we're focusing on, those STAR 2.0 type questions, and I've included a few of them in here for you just to show you how challenging they can be. This is an elementary question where kids are just entering the number. And what we found when we looked at our assessment is that these are the types of questions that oftentimes our students struggle with the most. They are not your typical ABCD type questions. And so you can see this one is a drag and drop where kids have to drag the answers to the different spots. And then we have a social studies example here where students have to indicate more than just one answer. They have to indicate everything that is correct. Those count more points, and oftentimes our kids struggle with getting all of those points. And then, of course, our constructed responses. And those are ones that students have to write in science, social studies, and RLA. Looking at our growth, in 5th grade RLA, remember this is the chart our principals use to really dig into how kids are growing from STAR until whatever assessment we give. Green is good, red is not so great, blue means they've maintained. And what we look for is we look for a gross score that is, we want it to always be 60% or above, because that means at least 60% of our students are growing from where they were. You can see for 5th grade RLA, we had a gross score of 69%. And what's really nice about this is, as a principal, I can click on this and I can see if I had 13 students that went from approaches to did not approaches, I can click on that box and know exactly which students we need to target in intervention. And so this is a great tool for our campuses to use, and we talk through it a lot with them, and they use it after every single assessment. So you can see we had 1,400 tests given in RLA 5th grade, and we had that growth rate of 69. With our non-Eureka math campuses, we had 640 students, 41 students that took this assessment that aren't in Eureka right now, and we had a growth of 73. These are typically our higher achieving campuses. Remember, this year for Eureka it was a pilot, and campuses could choose. Some grade levels even choose on particular campuses. And so these are the campuses that did not choose to use Eureka. For our campuses that did use Eureka, we have a larger number of students. We have 781, and we had 61% of them growing. So once again, we're seeing a little bit of a dip there with a new implementation of curriculum, but we're still seeing growth, and it's above that 60%, which is what we are looking for. The higher number, the better. In 8th grade, RLA growth, we had 66% growth with about 1,500 tests given, and so very pleased with that. And then 8th grade math, we had 800 students and 811 students that took this test, and 70% of them grew. So we are very pleased with that. Just some action steps that we are taking. As I said before, there's been an increased amount of intervention, especially this last month. Lots of after-school sessions, lots of during school time spent on reading and math in particular. And then I know several schools have had Saturday school. So my department has helped campuses with just targeting lessons around those high-need skills as they've planned for those extra times. We continue to train our coaches, particularly around writing, and we've had a lot of coaches both at the district and the campus level pulling small groups during tutoring time. And then one of the things that, as we got ready for the STAR, campuses held individual data conferences with kids to let them know what they needed to work on, and really kind of give them that last push before they took the test. And then, as always, we're continuing to collect feedback from teachers and adjust our pacing, our assessment, and our strategies. We're pulling groups together this summer to look at 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade reading. In particular, kind of our areas of focus are that and middle school math. What questions do you have for me?
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the kiddos, and you said it was a pilot program.
Yes.
The 441 that did not take it, so what's it gonna look like for them next year?
Everyone will be using Eureka.
Eureka,
Yes.
okay.
And what we're doing right now is the campuses that aren't currently using it, we're scheduling them and they are visiting campuses throughout the district where teachers have been successful with implementation. And so we're hosting them. So we've had lots of visitors to Brown, to Carmona, to Miller, to Irvin. And so everybody's getting an opportunity to look at that before they launch the new
See,
program.
and that's what's concerning to me because they're already struggling already, these schools you mentioned.
Right.
And they're gonna be already behind in Eureka and they're having a hard time, difficulty understanding Eureka. So that's, it's.
Well, the campuses that aren't currently using it are more of our high achieving campuses.
Yeah, and you
And
said
so
that.
we're having them go and look at it ahead of time so they know what they're getting into. We also have training this summer, so they'll be digging into it. They already have access if they want to begin looking, and they can start looking at that.
So these high achievers, you don't foresee any problems with them with the Eureka when they jump into it? That's what you're
I
saying,
wouldn't
right?
say no problems at all, Ms. Chavez, but I would say we're gonna support
Just
them
don't want
through
them being
that.
left behind.
Absolutely, and we're gonna support them through that change. We've met with the principals, we met with them a couple of weeks ago, and we actually have some visitations out to the campuses to help teachers. If they're feeling like they're struggling, they're concerned, we have teachers that we're highlighting. I did some testimonials from teachers that have been really successful with it, veteran teachers and new teachers, and we're kind of helping to pair people up so they have someone to talk to.
And no additional work for them, right? That's
Yes.
all they need.
In fact, one of the testimonials that I shared with principals was our 5th grade teacher at Brown, and she is a veteran teacher, and one of the things she said in her video was the fact that Eureka is giving her time back. Because she's not having to go look for things, she's taking what's there and making it her own.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? All right, I'll turn it over to Kami.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you all?
Good.
Good. President Stubblefield, I just want to take an opportunity this last opportunity to tell you how much I appreciate your service. And as somebody who has to stand at this podium and answer questions from the board, it is much appreciated when you stretch us beyond what happens right here outside with our teams to continuously improve and grow. And so preparing for these presentations is one thing, but doing the work with you all supporting it, but also giving us a healthy amount of pressure is much appreciated. So thank you for your service, sir.
Bless you. Thank you, Kim.
All right, here's your school support and special services behavior and discipline update. I know you're used to seeing the charts. Martha Dodge is our Director of Student Behavior Support. She is in an ARD meeting currently. We have for Lubbock ISD and the students that we serve, 2 coordinators and a lead behavior specialist, 3 student behavior support specialists, 4 SEBS behavior specialists, 6 school psychologists, 3 social workers, 2 related service counselors, 1 mentor specialist, and 1 SEBS facilitator doing the work and in the trenches, as Will Smith said, working with our most challenging students, supporting their efforts, but above all, supporting the systems and structures that the campuses are putting in place to make sure that they have good PBIS responses for all of our students. So you will see this chart is just our trend for 3 years across the weeks, the full weeks of every school year. And this year is that lime green line. So every single week we're tracking our incidences that are occurring across the district to look at patterns and take into consideration what might be occurring on the campuses at a given time. Obviously, different months bring different challenges, as do transitions from holidays, etc. And so we just focus on that part of this data. This is a breakdown by organization, so you see elementary schools, high school, and middle school across the 3 years, and how many incidences have occurred for those years in total up to this current date. And so you can see that we're trending down. Obviously, we're a declining enrollment school district, so some of that trend is due to our enrollment also decreasing. You can also see just a bar chart for you here, discipline incidences, and again, the representation of that lime green line is also represented in this chart. This is the chart that we really like to look at because it breaks down the specific behaviors and whether or not we're seeing a decrease of those based on the actions that were taken at the campus level. And so insubordination, you see a decrease there, which is something that we have really focused on the last 2 years, from bringing in behavior solutions to bringing in student behavior support specialists to wrapping around within our team structures on the campuses when we're talking about our Tier 2 and Tier 3 students and how we're intervening on their behalf. You can see a declining trend in fighting mutual combat, and then obviously with our drug intervention program, you can see a decline in the use of marijuana or other controlled substances. Then we like to look at administrative action to see if we're gaining in positive ways that we interact with our students and how we take administrative action when it comes to discipline decisions. The in-school suspension is supposed to be red, so I apologize for that. Those have increased a slight bit. Out-of-school suspensions have gone down, as have our placements in DAEP. We can contribute, or they've remained the same. Had we not implemented probably our drug intervention program, you would probably see a significant increase in that number. So that's that data. Right now we're working fiercely with Strong Connections Grant to make sure we're able to continue funding. We actually have 27 campus specialists. 16 of those will be funded with the Stronger Connections Grant. So sustainability is the name of our game. Martha and I feel, speaking of pressure, a tremendous amount of pressure to continue finding grants. We also work very close with Lane Sobrad, who works behind the scenes tirelessly to see that we're able to find funding for these positions. We are participating in a statewide committee. We're actually sending one of our lead behavior specialists and coordinators to that, and not just leaving it to Martha and I to do the work. And then we're collaborating with the Service Center, as Rick mentioned earlier, through the MOU and partnering with them to make sure we're not missing anything.
In this particular space, do you feel like that there are going to be more grants available?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've actually applied for a couple through the USDE Education Innovation Research, very rigorous process to apply for. We've even engaged tech in helping us write those. We've failed twice. They handed us a pretty big slap on our last one. Lane and I were not happy. But we'll continue to apply for anything that will help with mental health and helping our students socially and emotionally on our campuses. So have no doubt about that. Our social workers are putting on a rocking resource roundup on May 4th from 9:30 to 11:30 at Monterey. This is going to be a big event with a lot of community resources. We did not just invite our students who are classified as McKinney-Vento or experiencing homelessness. We invited any student that's receiving a special service under our organization to come out to gain resources from food needs to housing needs to counseling needs, all the clothing, hygiene, all of the basic necessities, plus any support that we can provide for families that are experiencing trauma. And then we are participating in the new group that's being established to create more of a centralized process for engaging our homeless population and making sure that we're all talking about the needs across the city and not in isolation of separate organizations. One of the things that Lubbock ISD will have the opportunity to do is to give data to this consortium that will actually allow them to apply for additional state funds that will not just benefit the students of Lubbock ISD, but the city of Lubbock. And then we have applied for the Texas Education for Homeless Children and Youth, what they call the TEACHE grant. That'll bring about additional $85,000 to Lubbock ISD. Our special education programming, obviously these are the number of students that we have who are receiving services under IDA, those with emotional disturbance or other health impairment, typically due to ADHD, but have significant challenges in addition to that. These students are served in programs across Lubbock ISD that focus on, again, their social emotional well-being. We will see probably a slight increase in these numbers next year, and we do plan on adding programming through elementary school. Our action plan in this area is continue to participate in district executive coaching, making sure we're going out and supporting and coaching campuses, ongoing training and data review with campus student support specialists and PBIS teacher leaders on campus, making sure they're looking at the data, looking at the individual kids, and creating those plans and working with our families. Focused walkthroughs and coaching at key campuses, collaboration with other districts. We're going to make the attempt to put together a Texas School Alliance for behavior with comparable districts our size. So if they thought of something we haven't thought of, we can replicate. And then we visited Abilene ISD. They have a similar structure to us. We may be a little more robust than them. They're actually going to come to see what we're doing too, but that's going to be just kind of the initial stages of that collaboration. And then an emphasis on the coaching model for SEBs and keeping our SEBs model as stable as we can keep it. Our current numbers at DAEP, this is Brian Ellison's area, as we grow in this area. I skipped on to discipline without really mentioning the transition, but I think you guys got it. You can see our numbers in middle school continue to be a little high, 8th grade in particular, and so that's just showing you current placements for the year and then also current placements that are happening right now at PIA. Broken out also by returner, so how many kids have come back twice, 3 times, and 4 times, and so you can see those numbers below. So these are also broken out by campus. You'll see that in a minute. So if our principals are paying attention to their returners, then every single one of our returners should be being talked about in an SST, a 504, an ARD committee, and we should have plans in place for them. Then you have this chart that's going to give you the percentage of drug offenses, the percentage of assaults, threats, how many mandatory and how many discretionary placements that we have, and our totals for the year. How many of those are actually returners based on the offense, and then what that looks like at the secondary level by violation. So this again is just, it keeps us in tune to what systems we need to change. You're going to see a whole lot of red on this one, which means across the board our numbers are going down by grade level and by 9-week period, except for those numbers in black. And so you'll see that in 10th grade, the first 9 week, we had 4 more students placed than what we experienced last year, 6th grade, etc. Our current numbers by campus. In the red and the yellow and the orange just means that they're high and they need to be looking at their processes and the students that they're sending. But you'll also see that based on previous year placements, where campuses have gone down and where campuses have gone up. But a better view is that percentage number, giving you the percentage of PIA enrollment and then the percentage of campus enrollment and then the total. But overall, the percentage of students that are actually at the DAEP is less than 4% of our total population. When it comes to the drug intervention program, Brian Ellison behind me, our data guy, has created a system now by which we can monitor those numbers And so you can see by grade level how many students have taken advantage of this program, remembering that it requires parental consent to engage in the program. If they're not successful, then they end up going to PIA. We call that a non-completer. So 91 students so far out of the total 179 have not participated in the program. 29 of those have been because not only do they have been given an offense with THC, they also have persistent misbehavior, and so that really justifies placement at DAEP. We had 21 parents opt out in total so far, and 43 that did not complete the program. So we still have a percentage of completers at 6th grade at 83%, 7th at 85%, 8th at 65%. You can read down the chart. So we would call this a success with first year implementation just starting in November. The percentage of completion is something that Texas Tech Health Science Center along with Lubbock ISD is proud of. We've also maintained the staff in those programs that are facilitating the intervention, and Texas Tech Health Science Center, through a grant that they have through the state, are the providers of the pay that are going to our staff. So
Tammy,
you can see their names there.
I'm sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
What are the reasons parents opt out? I'm just curious.
They want to see their student go through traditional discipline. They want to see them have a consequence
what I
that
was
they'll feel.
thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do that at home.
The other thing is Brian will be coming into student engagement committee to dive deep with drug intervention as well. We'll get into the weeds of what that looks like, sounds like. On-site visits, he and Texas Tech Health Science Center make visits on a regular basis, all the sites to monitor, and then obviously we're capturing data for that. So we are moving forward with David Johnson's retirement, so May 14th, 5 to 6, 208 North, if you'd like to say goodbye to him. We are cross-training Tyler Trout. The poor guy gets to meet with us and the team. We've already had 3 meetings with him. Brian will be coaching him through next year. And then our drug intervention program, I've already said all those things. We did start adolescent peer support groups. Those are Thursday and Friday nights from 5:30 to 8:30 at O.L. Slayton for any student that's been enrolled in the drug intervention program who need a place to go to try to continue making positive decisions towards not using. That's what this group is for, and that's overseen by George Kaminsky.
I was gonna ask you to go back one slide real quick.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about the opt-outs, and just that persistent misconduct. So am I reading this correct? Like 29 of the 91 that are opting out are having persistent misconduct?
Yeah, the 29. So instead of going, the administrator, the campus principal has the discretion to look at the data comprehensively and make a decision whether or not the other discipline that's happening with the student at the same time warrants the need for a DAP placement. And so 29 students out of 91 had other things going on that warranted a need for a DAP placement. 21 parents opted out and 43 did not complete the program. And so that's your total.
So do you know why they didn't complete? Because they weren't successful?
And I was about
They
to ask you,
didn't,
is
they
there
didn't
any
meet the
follow-up?
criteria.
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
They did not meet the criteria.
Okay.
So they may have missed too many days, chose not to attend at all. Or during the course of the intervention, they were caught with another vape or engaged in another disciplinary incident that resulted in a DAP placement.
And you guys are keeping up with that data
Yes,
as well?
ma'am.
But, I mean, other than this,
Oh, yeah.
okay, perfect.
Yes, ma'am. We
Thank
are.
you, Cammie.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you guys are doing.
And in talking to those parents, what are y'all doing with those parents? Like,
As far as opting out?
yeah, when they're opting out, what is it? Any type of realization?
Education.
Yes.
Yeah, they're provided with a flyer that gives them all the information. The campus principals, if they're doing the work, would be having conversations about the curriculum, Know Your Neuro, and the benefits of actually educating our students versus the punitive approach. So I think it's a conversation.
And on this persistent misconduct, Do you have a percentage of those that are your repeaters?
Yeah, we could pull that out. Absolutely. Yeah, not a problem.
I noticed on the placement, on that same slide, there's some outliers, both high and low on there. What would you attribute?
Where are you at?
The next slide, right there. So if I look at the 23-24 placements, both middle school and high school, you've got specific schools that are, one, Iron's very high, Evans very low. I mean, I have to think that it can't be that drastic of a difference in those two campuses. But
So there could be a number of factors that we could take into consideration. One would be that there are systems and processes in place at certain campuses that could potentially catch a student with a vape over others. Another thought process might be that the student population itself is more apt to using than another student population based on demographic, based on home life and values. That would be the other. I think the more students that use and congregate together obviously are influencing their peers to do the same. It's a highly addictive behavior, but it's also highly addictive substance. So, and it's a social behavior. I mean, it's no different than smoking. I'm sure nobody in this room smoked in college or anything like that, but it's a highly addictive social behavior. So, but we also, Mr. Ratcliffe, could dig into that data deeper as well and ask some of those questions of our campus administration.
Kimmy, what parental interaction is there? I know there's some level on the placements with respect to the repeat offenders, well, respect to any of them, but on the repeat offenders, like the number of kids that are in there second time, third time, fourth time, like what recourse do we have with the parents or with the kids?
So it goes back to number one, those students should be engaged in SST 504 or special education processes, no doubt. If they're not, then our campuses are not doing the job of identifying them and working the work and inviting parents into those conversations. That's the first thing. When they go to PIA, there is an orientation process, and then there should be a transition meeting back to the campus where we look at what's best for the student. As these students climb the secondary ladder, when we're getting into 8th and 9th grade and we're becoming a regular student at PIA, that's when we've got to have conversations about non-traditional ways of educating these students. And that's where we've worked on alternative pathways, alternative learning pathways, and taking into consideration whether or not they need to be at Dupree. And so every campus has a committee, and every campus has a number of assigned seats that they can use for Dupree that equal the capacity that we have at Dupree. And so in our alternative learning pathway document, there's criteria for every kind of scenario. The issue is we have middle school students now engaging in more behaviors than what we've been used to. So 8th grade is a population of students that we still need to problem solve around. But 9 through 12, we should have options for them, all kinds of options for them. There's really no excuse for those students. A lot of this, though, guys, is also neighborhood activity. So beyond Lubbock ISD, we need to target neighborhoods who they're cultivating and incubating, activity that is more gang-like and not necessarily gangs. A lot of kids want to identify as tough and, strong, and they're not going to, be threatened or worry about their actions because they're going to protect themselves and take care of whoever they've got. And they create, our students create a brotherhood. I mean, if you want to feel that, sit at PA for a while and listen to conversations that some of our students are having and experiencing, and it's their way of coping with their current circumstances. So I would also say we've got to figure out how to influence our neighborhood activity as well.
Is the reintroduction meeting that happens at PIA, are the parents required to be there? Like,
They're required to
do
go
we
to
not allow them?
orientation. They
They're
are
not on the
required.
exit.
The transition meeting, if the parent doesn't show up, we continue without them.
So,
Is there a way to require them to come before they transition?
I mean, I think part of the problem in all these scenarios are the parents, and so having them being held just as accountable, I think it's good for the whole family to be part of that, because you also have the training that you guys are giving and the education. I understand some of this stuff is outside of the school, but you know, for somebody who specifically is in for the 4th time in a given year, I mean,
Agreed.
that's asinine. That's keeping the rest of the school from doing what they need to do.
Agreed. So, number one, we need to work to improve our transition processes. So that will own. And number two, although I don't think we could ever require them to attend and hold the kid in a disciplinary placement, that probably would be in violation of statutes. But that's not to say that we can't do a better job of making sure that they attend and coming up with some creative strategies around that. So take note, Tyler Trout, take note, and we'll work on it.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
I would suggest just looking into type of different partnerships. I know that a collaborative is being formed, but I think it's also hard when you're dealing with consent agreements and
MOUs and
yeah, but because ideally the majority of these students are going to be involved in like housing and with DHS and having a collaborative network there, because I'm very mindful that they're going to show up for their housing appointments. You know, it's a hands down deal. You're going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if it's some type of way you can partner with those different social service agencies, they have a conversation, you might be able to maybe move the needle in this.
this is why we're all housed together now. This is why Brian works with Martha and we work, you know, with me, and we also work with special education and 504, and why social workers are working with bilingual. This is why we're all together here, and also making sure that we're engaging any community collaborative, including the housing piece of this, is something that we're issuing our people to be a part of. But I would also say anything that we're missing that would bring power into the conversation, somebody needs to educate us and bring light to that as well.
I would say this, we've talked about this sometimes, and I know we're going to press on because everybody's ready for the budget workshop portion. But we've talked about community schools before, that community schools model from IEL. And so big model where you bring those resources into the school, maybe with PIA, you partner with community development, you partner with DHHS, dishes, whatever Mike likes to call it, but bring them and give them satellite space in a classroom. You see what I'm saying? And maybe bring a whole parent orientation there. So if I'm coming to renew my I don't know what we call it now, it used to be TANF, I guess it's still that, yeah. Right? So have those folks conduct that class or that orientation in PIA. And I think you would find some things where it's gonna open some doors and make headway in a way that we never thought possible, right?
Well, and what I'll say to that is we're not scared of that.
Right.
We have to find external funding for that, and we need other people from the community to recognize that also. There is a model in Dallas that you're describing that we have read the research on, it's actually residential also. Parents don't just come to community classes. Some of those students actually stay, but that's huge.
It is.
So the other thing, yes, we're not scared of those conversations. It's the funding portion that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Bill's gonna have lots of time to volunteer if you need somebody.
You're gonna go out there, you're gonna create those networks.
Carrie, I have a really quick question
Yes,
before we
ma'am.
end up going forward on this. So can school teachers or nurses also refer our students to the intervention program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So can cafeteria managers and janitors,
good.
anyone
That's good to
in
know.
our school community that recognize that there's a need that we need to address can make a referral.
And they're aware of it?
They should be, and if not, we can remind
great.
our campus administrators. I think our campus administrators do a great job in regards to bringing them in as community. But if there's a kid in need and there's a district employee or contracted employee that sees that, bringing that to the campus principal and engaging our processes is always an option.
Thank you.
Kami, we sure appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You
Thank
and the
you,
team.
Kami.
Tyler, we're looking forward to it. He's not here?
No,
thought he was
I was
back
just
here.
calling him out publicly.
I just thought I couldn't see him behind the laptop. Okay. Right.
He's doing double duty.
And Kim, thank you also for the presentation.
Yes.
Next item, and maybe the last will be our budget. So we want to invite Shay Jennings, the Executive Director of Finance and Budget, to the podium.
Good morning again.
morning.
This is the first budget workshop of the 24-25 budget season. We've presented it twice in Finance Committee, but this is the first time before the full board. We have some key calendar dates here. We will have 2 more board workshop meetings before the adoption on the 20th. And just a reminder, because we are a July 1st district and we don't receive our certified tax rolls until July 25th, we don't adopt our tax rate until August. We do not have our preliminary property values yet from LCAD. We are expecting those early next week. So for this assumption right now, we're leaving those values the same. When we go into the template, keeping those values the same due to continued tax compression, right now our M&O tax rate is projected to be 0.7455 down from 0.7488 the previous year. Once again, once we get preliminary values and then our certified values, that will most likely change. And we are assuming an average daily attendance with a 400 ADA reduction of 22,045. Budgeted revenues year over year, we're seeing a $5.2 million decrease in revenues. We're seeing a large drop in taxes for the current year, tax collections, and that is due to the state implementing that $100,000 homestead exemption. Because we're a July 1st district, that went into effect after we had adopted our budget. So we had adopted our budget on the old law. So you'll see that $23 million reduction there. But when you go down to the foundation school fund, you see a almost $24 million increase in foundation school fund. And that's because of that flip. So when they reduced our tax base, the state kicks in and makes us whole for that reduction.
But again, that's not new
No,
money
that is
to the
not new
district.
money.
That is
They are
just a
just
swap.
keeping our funding level the same. You'll see just a very slight drop in available school fund of $195,000. Again, that huge increase in foundation school fund because of the $100,000 homestead exemption being put into place. You'll see a $2 million reduction, in the 1882 money, and that is because we chose to dissolve the LPN charter school, and so we lose that funding. And then you'll see a drop of $3.6 million in all other general sources, and that is due to the SHARS audit that took place. That's about a $3 million reduction, and that hit every district and state that participates in that SHARS program.
Also, there's a $1.1 million reduction in indirect cost. We have had ESSER these last few years, and so we were able to collect indirect cost, which is revenue that we put into the general fund for administering grants. And with that large amount of money going away, then our indirect cost that we collect will go down also. And then budgeted expenditures year over year, we're seeing currently a $4.9 million increase. Payroll expenses, we're seeing a $5.4 million increase. Part of that is due to one of the intentions of ESSER being bringing relief to general fund, and we took advantage of that. So we had moved some positions over to that ESSER fund to bring that relief to general fund to boost our fund balance. We're having to put those positions back. Also, to meet the letter of the law of having a police officer on every campus, we have to show that we are making a good faith effort, and one way that we do that is budgeting for those positions, whether they're filled or not, and that is about $1 million increase as well to the payroll side. Purchasing and contracted services, we're seeing a $302,000 decrease. Materials and supplies, $300,000 decrease. Miscellaneous operating expenses, $127 million, Lord have mercy, $127,000 increase. And then capital outlay, we're seeing a $7,000 decrease again for that $4.9 million increase in expenditures. Major expenditure differences, there you see professional salaries at $4.9 million increase, again, moving those ESSER positions that we had moved out of general fund back. Classified salaries, that $1 million for additional police officer positions. What you're not seeing in the numbers that I just presented currently is we're estimating reduced position reductions of $4.5 million, and so hopefully we'll see those numbers reflected in the next budget workshop. Software renewals, an increase of $202,000. Then copier lease, we see a $275,000 decrease. And general supplies, $195,000 decrease. And bus transportation for athletic, field trip, co-curricular, an increase of $212,000. So preliminary revenue over expenditures. And remember, this is preliminary. We still have a lot of work to do in a very short time, but we, I assure you, are looking under every rock and pulling every lever that we possibly can. We're showing currently a $10.1 million deficit. With those anticipated position reductions, we're right now currently at $5.7 million still deficit. And this is without any pay increase included. Questions?
Do we know yet on the ESSER funds what's going to be distributed out to our staff? How's that going to work?
So, yes, ma'am, we are very close to being able to, I anticipate being able to make that announcement.
At the May workshop.
At the May workshop, yes, thank you. I kind of got a brain cramp. May 9th. So remember, our final payment will happen on May the 27th. That's when we anticipate that final payment. And I will be able to make an announcement as to the exact number at that workshop.
So at this point, you don't have the numbers. You're working on it.
Right. We're still combing and scrubbing and making sure that we empty out those accounts.
All of it.
Yeah, yes.
We do anticipate an increase over the 500 and the 1,500.
Okay, nice. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm comfortable saying that. I'm comfortable saying it will be more than.
No, I'm glad you said that. People need to know that.
Yep.
So
Thank you, guys. Sorry about that.
do we know what the anticipated enrollment will be? I see the ADA, but enrollment versus ADA.
I mean, there's really no way. Certainly, we can. One of the ways that we've done things in the past is for enrollment. Obviously, if you're in second grade, we roll you up to third grade, correct? The big number that's a huge question mark every year is kindergarten. It's very difficult for us to anticipate accurately, with the same accuracy anyway that we do the others, because we just don't know how many kids will actually enter and darken the door. We do kindergarten roundup. We do a lot of things to try to anticipate that, but we still will have kids that show up. In the past, what we've done is if you had 40 kids in kindergarten last year, we would staff you at that. That's expensive because if those kids don't show up, then we've now offered a contract to that teacher, and we have to find a place for that teacher. We are staffing lots more conservatively. We're looking at trend data and seeing in the past 3 years, have your kids shown up or have they not shown up? Our birth rate data that we've looked at demographically shows that this is the year we should bottom out. And so even though we're budgeting at a 400 ADA reduction, the positive side of Rick Rodriguez is hoping that we bottom out and that number actually comes in lower, which will give us more breathing room in the budget. But we won't know that. But demographically, 5 years ago, the birth rate bottomed out and they leveled off. So that's what Rick Rodriguez is crossing his fingers.
I will share with you guys in the update tomorrow our enrollment over the last several years so that you can see the trend. And that's one thing we use as a guide as well.
And then in the next workshops, we'll have some scenarios for salary increases.
Right.
And,
It's
and what we're actually going to have to be looking at to approve and pass and how to do that.
Right, the finance committee asked us, and we'll be producing once we have our positions really in a more stable place, then start to bring what a cost estimate for several percentages. So from 1%, 2%, 3% pay raises, what that cost would be for y'all to consider.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good to know.
I'll just remind you that we were one of very few districts that adopted a balanced budget for this school year. Most districts across the state, especially those in the Texas School Alliance, adopted a deficit budget. At least right now, this may be our first time to adopt a deficit budget, which I do not care for at all. But I don't know that we have much of a choice. We're in a perfect storm of ESSER money going away, very, very little new money from the state, requirements from the state that actually cost a lot more than the money we did receive, and then a declining enrollment situation. So it's a tough budget year, the toughest I think we've ever faced.
And I'd be remiss, and I know we're not in control of this, and we've appealed with HHSC, but the $5.5 million in SHARS money that we counted on, if you look at what was left after our position reductions, that number is $5.7 million. If we had that 5.5, we'd be in a much better place. Not a card we saw coming, no way for us to see that was going to happen. That was a punch in the gut that from the finance side that is hard to recover from when you're counting on 5.5 million that we are no longer going to be able to count on.
Right now, we're anticipated to get about 2.2. So.
Yet another hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They have to overcome.
All while we provide more services.
Yeah. When does the interim, Lieutenant Governor Patrick's interim charges, when does that start? When is he, that he sent out because this is all going to be wrapped into.
I believe they're working.
Are they already meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Researching. They research now to be ready for the next legislative session. Yes, ma'am.
But there was nothing on school funding.
No, but it's
in those.
vouchers though, and so
Yes.
that is going to impact clearly what.
That's going to be
Because
trouble.
they're going to, if that passes, then we'll get some money. If it doesn't pass,
Well.
we'll get money.
No.
And we're not getting money anyway.
No.
but-
It focused on school choice.
Yep.
It focused on library books. And it focused on, did we spend COVID dollars appropriately?
I will say, though, there was an item in there that I read that talked about school funding and how to do it with eliminating property taxes. So in a roundabout way, hopefully school funding will be looked at to some extent. May not be what we want.
I mean, I know that's not anything now that will impact, but looking down the line.
Have we given the administrators at the campuses their budgets for next year? I mean,
Oh,
are
yes.
they're aware now of what they have and
What they're facing.
First blush, I will say that. We have met, we've given them, and we anticipate. I would be remiss if I did not give kudos to Shay and to Dr. Wilkins in our conversations on a daily basis. Hey, what about this? What if we did this? Hey, I was thinking last night, what about this? And so we are turning over every possible stone to figure out what is our best position financially, and it's going to hurt no matter how you slice it. It doesn't matter. People, our staff, and eventually our kids will feel the impact of the legislature and the lack of funding that we got as public schools. So I really anticipate that through, and I think Dr. Rollo has done a phenomenal job all year long of talking about this very thing. So I think our staff is informed. I think probably our secondary campuses are a little more attuned to it because of our staffing that we've done, the extensive work that Misty and Max have done with staffing allocations for them. I think they are extremely attuned. And so our campuses aware? I would say generally yes. Secondary probably more so than elementary.
We are scheduling meetings right now with all of our principals and also central office departments just to basically go through this with them so that they understand, have a better understanding of just where we are right now.
Because what happens when we adopt a deficit budget, we have to make that up the next year by using fund balance, which is something that we are dangerously close to dipping between that 90 days suggested unassigned fund balance.
Any other comments, questions?
Thank you, Shay.
Glad we ended on a
Dwayne,
high note.
for stepping right in. And
I will share that one thing that we know that we need to work on, we're going to have tough decisions, we know, heading forward. But one thing we know that we really need to work on, and it's improved this year, but we need it to improve even more so that we can get back to pre-COVID attendance rates. But if we focus on attendance, what's the number? You guys shared
It's 1.5 for every percent that we increase our ADA district-wide. It's about $1.5 million. And pre-COVID, we were running 95, 96% attendance rate, and we're doing well to get to
89, 90.
Yeah, we're running
I mean,
89,
but that's a
90%.
chronic problem across the
It
state.
is.
I mean,
Yes.
that's crazy to me.
Totally. So one of the things Dr. Wilkins has been doing is he's asked technology to build him a dashboard. So I think putting it in front of people, and because I think we anecdotally say, wow, there's a lot of kids missing today, but what does that mean? And so I think being able to put it in front in a way that's meaningful to our staff is important. I think also having some conversations with our attendance clerks. I can tell you that Tim Andrews has been meeting with our judges and our attendance officers to get some collaboration there as to what can they do from the bench to help us, and that's more meaningful. Because I do think, unfortunately, a bad COVID keep is if I cough once, then you stay home, right? And we've got to we don't necessarily want sickly kids coming to school. However, a cough is not a reason for you to stay home. Let's get you and get you into school, because that's how we have to educate our kids. And butts in the seat equals not doing things that maybe you could get in trouble for. And so that's a better environment for you to be in a school than unsupervised at home.
I get that Beth, that you said it's happening clear across the state. With that being said, I don't even want to think about that. We need to think about us, because if people start getting comfortable, well, it's already happened, it's a trend. No, we're not. We're gonna keep it right here. We're gonna think of LISD only, and we need to push forward. I'll tell you what. At one point, I remember with Dr. Garza, She went out to get kids door to door, door to door. You know what? We're trustees. Why don't we do that? Why don't we go knocking at doors to see what's happening? I think we need to do our part. Why not? Dr. Garza did it. Her staff did it. Central office did it.
Oh, expectation graduation.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is another scenario. Let's get out there, let's do our job.
But we're going to do we've been working on attendance, and it is improving, but we're going to think differently about how we promote that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is one thing we have some control over.
That is correct.
Thanks, guys.
Jay, thank you for the presentation.
Yes.
Wayne, thank you as well. Nathan, appreciate you guys for what you do. So, John, it looks like you got some stuff to look forward to as well. Yeah, some exciting things there. Congratulations again to you on the ratification or the certification that we did today. All right. I don't think we have need for an executive session. All right. Well, we will call it here at 10:22. Thank each and every one of you, and to those that might be listening in. It's been a joy, especially an honor and a privilege to serve the citizens of Lubbock, Texas. This is a calling that I felt in my heart 8 years ago as being led of God, something I prayed about, and I put my faith first in every capacity. And thank Him for the assignment that He's given me to do this. And I've enjoyed serving with each and every one of you. We've seen a lot of good people come and go. And one of the best things that I do believe that I'll reiterate this again is that I had an opportunity to have the honor to play in the decision to hire you, Kathy, and that's gonna remain one of the best highlights of my time here. I'll be an advocate always. I've always been before I got on the board for public education. I want to encourage everyone to do that, and I think that's another thing, a great thing that we can do is to advocate for public education, and in this day and age, it's necessary right now. If it even takes a coalition of trustees going down to the Capitol to stand, a region of folks to tell those lawmakers, that we need them to release funding, to give to the school districts that which they need. But we'll be prayerful about those things going forward. It's 10:24. This meeting is adjourned.
Flesh is the flesh that we want, right? Just the outside. You can save the inside. You can use them somewhere else. Use them for some stock or tomato sauce or something else that you're making. So we're going to take these.